This is a setup demonstration for the Geek Vape Aegis Legend 200-watt device. Inside the box, in addition to the mod itself, you will find a box which will contain your micro USB cable for charging, as well as a spare dust plug for your micro USB port located on the top of the device. And underneath the foam tray where the device will be sitting, you will find a user manual and a warranty card from the manufacturer. Let's take a look at the device itself. On the front face, you will find the fire button on the top. It does look a little bit like it would be something you would slide, but it is just a press button. And then you'll find the screen below that, and then along the bottom, you'll have your plus and minus buttons. On the top of the device, you'll have your 510 connection for screwing on the atomizer of your choice, as well as your micro USB port underneath this dust plug. To access the port, you simply pull out and move aside that dust plug, and that will give you access. It is a very rounded shape that a lot of micro USB cables will not fit into, so if you do intend to use your cable for charging with this device, make sure you hang on to the one it comes with because it will fit. We have had customers have success with other micro USB cables, getting them to fit by trimming off the squared edges towards the end, but do use caution if that is something you end up doing. On the bottom of the device, you'll find the battery hatch for installing the two 18650 batteries that are required to operate this device. Word of note when using multi-cell devices, it is generally best practice to use an external bay charger to charge your batteries. The way that the charge will go into the batteries when charging by cable is that it will go through one cell and then into the other, which generally results in one cell always having just not quite a full charge, even though it will indicate on the device that it is a full charge. So it is best practice to remove them and use an external bay charger. However, if you do need to charge by cable, making sure that in between chargings you rotate which battery is in which bay inside the device will help to minimize the effect of having your batteries charge not perfectly balanced. To install the batteries, on the bottom here you have the latch that will open up the battery hatch here. This area here, you'll take that and slide back and pull, and that will open up the hatch. After installing your batteries, to close it back up, you'll notice that there is this little post here that sticks out and retracts when I pull back on this slider here. You do need to pull that back, press down, and slide it into place to securely close the battery hatch. That is part of its water-resistant functionality. There's very robust silicone sealing here, so you do have to pull that back, press down, and slide in to get it to latch correctly. To install the batteries, you'll notice inside each area for each battery, on one side by the contact inside is a big red plus, and on the other side by the contact is a big blue minus. That is to indicate the polarity the battery should be inserted in, so that on this side the positive end of the battery touches the contact, and on this side the negative end of the battery touches the contact. So we'll insert positive end in on this side and negative end in on this side. Something else to note when using multi-cell battery devices, it is generally a good idea to mark your sets as being married. It is a very bad idea to use two batteries of two different wear and tear amounts in the same device. So in order to make sure you're always using this pair together as a pair, and if one gets used separately, you don't put them back together, it's a very good idea to mark your sets of batteries so that you know not to use them individually in anything, especially if you have multiple devices that take different numbers of batteries to operate. So then we'll go ahead and get that back into place. And now with the batteries installed, we can go ahead and turn the device on by giving the fire button 5 quick clicks. With the device turned on, In the event that you hit the fire button without a tank attached, it will tell you that there is no coil detected. That error message can also come up if there is, for some reason, a problem between the connection between your coil and the base of your tank, or between your entire tank and the device itself. So if you have a tank attached and that message appears, double check that your coil is fully screwed in and making contact inside your tank, and double check that your tank itself is fully screwed on to the device. Another reason that could happen is if you need to clean the contact of your 510 connection on either the inside of the device or on the bottom of your tank. Let's take a look at the information displayed on the screen. So at the very top, you will find right here it's saying power for power mode. That's the mode that most people tend to use. It's also the mode that you'll need for any of the pre-installed coils in any of the tanks that we carry currently. None of the tanks we currently offer come with any temperature control style coils. Below your mode display here, you'll find your wattage. This is currently set to 35.0 watts. You can tell it's reading in wattage because of the W just below the numbers. And then beneath that, you have individual power level indicators for each battery. This can be helpful in the event that, say, you're charging by cable, and it can help you figure out which of the two batteries, if one is becoming unbalanced from the other, it'll give you an idea of which battery is having the issue. Beneath that, you'll find a series of details about the device and about its functionality. So right below your battery bars, you'll find coil 0.00. That is going to be the resistance of the attached atomizer. There's currently no coil or no tank attached, so that's why it's giving me the error message that there's no coil detected. That will show up once we've attached something. Beneath that, you have the current operating amperage and voltage, also reading 0 because right now we have nothing attached and it's not actually firing anything. And then along the very bottom, you have your puff counter. The puff counter can be reset to 0 at whenever you choose, and we'll go over how you can do that right now. To enter the menu settings to adjust which mode you're in or clear your puff counter, etc., instead of giving the 5 clicks on the fire button to turn it completely on or off, you'll give 3 clicks. And now you'll notice the mode power is highlighted. If I want to change that, I can use the plus or minus buttons to scroll through. Oops, it timed out. So let me go ahead and give it the 3 clicks. So with it highlighted there, you can use the plus and minus buttons to scroll through the different settings. There's an individual setting for each type of temperature control wire or type of coil you might possibly use. We're going to get it back to the power mode. And if I press the fire button while that's highlighted, if I don't let it time out, when I press the fire button while that's highlighted, it scrolls down to the different areas that you can adjust. First, it goes to the resistance of your coil. That you will only want to adjust manually if you're using temperature control. In standard power mode, just let the device read the resistance of your coil. That will give it the most accurate functionality. The device uses the resistance of your coil as it reads it, as well as the wattage you have it set to determine how much energy to draw from the batteries to achieve your desired result on the wattage setting you have. So if you adjust that resistance, that could cause it to fire hotter or not as strong as you want it to. And then on the bottom here, when you have that highlighted, you can press the plus button to clear your puff counter. And to exit the adjusting settings mode, all you have to do is let it sit and time out until the highlight goes away. And now when we adjust with the plus and minus buttons, it will be adjusting our wattage again. If you find that you've dialed in the wattage that you like and you want to lock that in position without worrying about accidentally changing it, the way to lock the plus and minus buttons is simply to press and hold them at the same time until the lock pad symbol appears next to your W wattage indicator there on the top of the screen. So now if I press the plus and minus buttons, it will say that it's locked and will not adjust the output. But when you lock the plus and minus buttons in this way, you can still use the fire button and fire your attached atomizer. I'm going to go ahead and unlock it now by doing the same thing I did to lock the plus and minus buttons, which is press and hold both of them at the same time. And then you'll see that little padlock symbol disappear. Let's go ahead and attach a tank. The tank I'll be using for demonstration purposes is the I sub B from Innikin. To view this or other tanks that we currently have available, visit our tanks page and you'll find a listing for each tank that we carry, as well as an embedded video like this one describing the initial setup of that tank. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this tank and take a look at the screen as I do so. You'll notice that, whoops, one sec here. I almost cross-threaded it there. As a thing of note, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to your threading as you're screwing on your atomizer. Now, as you screw on your tank, it's going to ask you if it's a new coil or the old coil. No matter which it is, we do recommend always pressing the plus button and telling it that it's a brand new coil. That just forces the device to accurately reread the current resistance of the coil and ensures, again, that it is heating the coil accurately based on the resistance and your preferred wattage that you have it set to. Once you've attached that, you should be ready to go. Press and hold the fire button to operate. Once again, to turn off the device, you give it the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clicks, and then it will power down. The device will also power down anytime you remove the batteries and then reinstall them. You will have to turn the device back on after removing the batteries and reinstalling them, or installing a fresh set. That's just about everything you need to know to set up the Geek Vape Aegis Legend device. Happy vaping!